most powerful resource. It is said by Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam in his speech. He further added that if it's properly directed, it could turn into huge transformation. And that is power of youth, millennials. Welcome all. Welcome to warm, energetic, cheerful Sunday evening. I am Prathamesh Thanekar, your host and host for today's session. To introduce myself, I am finance MBA management student who loves politics, music, and I'm also a fitness enthusiast. About my Toastmaster journey, I started my Toastmaster journey in September 2019. And trust me, my 18 months of experience as a Toastmaster has been enriching. I can guarantee you that no platform in the world will give you such a huge experience, learnings, exposures as Toastmaster gives. With that, I would like to welcome you all in this session, Preparing to Win. We all are here to learn, all are here to win. But there are few things that we need to learn, especially when you are studying in the college and we are heading towards our career progression. And today, as an initiative of a Millennials Toastmasters Club perspective, we are taking a first episode of this series, which is Preparing to Win. And today we have a keynote speaker, Sajita Thomas. Before we begin, I would like to state a few protocols of this session. This session will have two segments. First, we'll have address from the keynote speaker. The second part will have a question and answer round. Before we begin, a few protocols that we need to follow is, please stay on mute. You can use chat box if you have any queries. And be excited with your questions as we will take it towards the end. Now, to introduce our today's keynote speaker, Sajita Thomas is in an advisory and consulting role with one of the consulting divisions of Oracle Financial Services Limited. She is in the role of business partner and is been with Oracle over past 13 years. She is associated with various forums like NASSCOM's Women in Leadership for IT, Oracle Women Leadership. She enjoys being mentor for young professionals. She is a core member of Aspire. Apart from her career, she is a sports enthusiast. Sajita is a national athlete and a Maharashtra state record holder for long jump in 1990. She is awarded a Chief Minister Scholarship for Junior Leadership, and she has received awards for outstanding contribution as a woman leader twice in a contribution to empowering young adults. Her passion for running and participating in car rallies never seems to fade. She rediscovered her passion through trail walking and has successfully completed 50 kilometers and 100 kilometers trail walking with Oxfam in 2018 and 2019. Hold on. There is one more surprise for you. She also holds a Guinness Book of World Record for plankathon, the most people holding abdominal plank in the position for 1 minute. She's a program leader and a coach in women leadership community. Ma'am, it's been an honor for all of us to have you here. Please give a round of applause for Sajita Thomas.
Thank you so much, Prathamesh. Thank you so much for this wonderful introduction. So good evening, my dear friends. A warm welcome to the Millennial Toastmasters first session here with us. Okay. So as a person, right, I love telling stories. So let me start with one. Okay. I'll show you a picture of a person and I want you to guess if you know or have you seen this person anywhere. Okay, I'll just wait for the slide to come. Okay, can we go to the next one? Can you put on the next slide, please? Okay.
Just give us a sec.
Sure. Okay. Just look at him and tell me, have you seen him anywhere? Maybe in your locality. Probably not in Bermudas like this, right? Some clothes on, right? Now, this fellow, his name is Jeff. And his friend saw him in this condition and said, let me take you to a doctor. The doctor examined him and gave him a prescription. Next slide. This is what the doctor said. He had shaky hands, blushing cheeks, memory loss, nausea, and knocking knees. The doctor diagnosed and said that he has anxiety and gave him a prescription to kill his nervousness. Right? So let me ask you again, do you see somebody like him the moment you hear that campus interviews are around the corner? Anxious and electrified. If you can resonate with Jeff and have butterflies in your stomach the moment you think of interviews, it's good, which means we are all normal people. Well, research says that public speaking is the biggest fear humans have. And it's absolutely fine if students are anxious to face interviews. So much expectation, so much preparation. It's like the university factory has produced one more graduate, and now the placement depends on how he fares in his interview. It's all about the packaging now. You being here just shows your eagerness to learn some tips and tricks to prepare for interviews and face it like a big boy or girl. So in the next 30 minutes, let's look at what is it that we are going to cover. Next slide. Thank you. Let's look at the tool that you will use to create the first impression among heaps of application that you will make, your resume, which will get you that opportunity or that seat across the table. We will then look at some of the types of resumes and also some formats, and then we will move on to the Q&A session. Next slide. Okay. So when you talk about resume, it is the first contact any job aspirant makes with a prospective employer. Your resume is nothing but your representation in brief, which needs to excite the recruiter, who will then schedule for a call or for a meeting, depending upon whether the resume has excited the person. And let me tell you, a good resume helps a job seeker stand out, which is why this needs to be carefully crafted. And of course, what you see is what you will be visualized as, because you're not there in person. I can tell you from my own personal experience that a well-trained recruiter will not spend more than 15 to 20 seconds when he's eyeballing what is written in the resume. Therefore, it needs to be short, crisp, to the point, and at the same time, it needs to cover all the details the employer is looking for. The data that you put in the document is suggested to be arranged in chronological order, whether it's your education, the SEM-wise marks, the projects that you have done, any internships over the years, If you have any noteworthy achievements, extracurricular activities, any leading of CSR events, all that content will go into your resume, right? So that preferably put it in a chronological order. And remember to use keywords the company is looking for. You know, many of the companies use artificial intelligence to sort hundreds of applications that they receive. So this is a very important point. Use keywords. You also need to keep a master copy
Ma'am,
of the CV.
actually, I have a doubt.
Yeah.
Can I ask?
Okay. Can I finish and then can you make your notes and we'll take the questions at the end? Is that okay?
Okay, ma'am.
Thank you. Okay. So I was saying that you also need to keep a master copy of the CV, right? Because today you may plan to apply for a position which is in a bank. Tomorrow maybe you want to apply for a position which is in any other industry. So you need to keep a master copy with you and then keep tweaking it so that you can suit the requirement whenever you apply. Every application that you make has to be tailor made to the requirement that you're applying for. Okay. And finally, what you write, including the look and feel, should truly represent who you are. You know, a lot of people use the free tools or even go to the paid services where even content writing has been taken care of. Now, when you appear for an interview, you should be able to defend the content, including any jargons or any big phrases that are mentioned in the resume, right? And if you're not able to defend that, you will not be looked upon as a genuine candidate. Okay. So now let's look at the type of resumes. I would like to highlight two popular formats over here. One is the paper resume and second is the video resume. Now, let's look at the classic format of a paper resume. Okay. Yeah. So this neatly covers the identity of the candidate. It will have the name, personal information, contact number, email ID, all those things will be there. Next, it will talk about the objectives of the candidate. Basically, it's a summary statement. So there is enough literature on the internet which will assist you on what goes into writing a good summary statement. Do look upon this for further reading. Now, what job recruiters see in your summary statement may be what convinces them to continue reading your entire resume. Like I said, right, they just glance through it 15, 20 seconds. So if there is anything interesting, then they will spend more time. So summary statement is something which comes right on top, right? And it needs to be written very well to attract attention. And it should not be more than 3 or 4 sentences from your resume. So create an effective summary statement. Keep the following best practices in mind. First, mention your skills and experience that is related to your job, whatever you're applying for, not everything that you know, right? Second, save the details regarding what you list for a later part of the resume. So if you have more items, take the top three, put it in your summary statement. The remaining, if it is important and relevant, keep it for the later part of your resume. Third, you need to be sure that you're relating your status as a graduate student, right? Now, also, you need to highlight some keywords and skills. What I mean is be careful to mirror your list of skills to those you've already mentioned in your resume. It should corroborate with the same story that you're trying to say, right? You shouldn't use big words and skill sets while you're highlighting the skills, and that is not repeated anywhere in the resume. So what you pick on top has to be a reflection of some of the keywords from your resume, right? Fourth one is about experience. Now when we're talking about a fresh entrant, right, you may not have work experience which is a full-time work experience, or maybe you will not have any work experience. In that case, if you have any internships, any job shadowing assignments that you have done, or even any volunteering work that you have worked with any of the NGOs, right, you can provide that relevant experience in the experience sections in your resume. List experiences, including internships, with work related to the job that you're applying for. There is no need to put everything that you have done again, right? And finally, you need to capture the education that you're doing. So typically, you will only list the highest degree you have accomplished for a fresher. You need to mention your semi scores in chronological order, and also note down all the important milestones. Maybe because you are a fresher, you also need to mention, a little bit about your 12th standard and 10th standard. You need not go into the details, but you can keep it very brief. In addition to this, if you're currently pursuing any certification or a course, don't forget to mention that. Put the name of the course, and then you can just put a dash and say you're currently pursuing it, right? Remember, a good resume can always help convince the employer to give you a chance to at least come and meet them, right? Now, let's take a look at some of the popular formats, which is more graphical. Okay, next slide. Okay, thank you. So if you look at this, right, it is easy to read, it creates an impression, and it also catches the eye of the recruiter. Many colleges and institutes have their own format of the resume. If you're applying from the placement office, then there is limitation to the creativity which you can use, because you need to apply in that same format, right, when you're sitting for your campus. But if you're not sitting through campus, you can use various formats and apply your creativity. However, even if you are not able to use it in the format which the college is giving you, you can always choose to write your content very effectively and powerfully, right? Okay, let me tell you about another interesting item, which is the cover letter. Now, why is a cover letter important? Cover letter is a convincing story which becomes very critical if you want to stand out from the other applicants, right? If you're looking for a particular assignment in a particular company, there will be hundreds of people who may be applying for the same. So how do you stand out? One of the ways which you can stand out is by using a very interesting and nice cover letter. Specifically, it shows the manager that you are compassionate about the position that you're applying for, right? It also supports the resume that you're attaching, and it makes a story or an impact that you desire to join that company and you want to succeed there, right? When you're attaching a resume on an email or directly on the website, you have an opportunity to excite the reader by making him go and click on the download. That's point number one. When you're uploading on the website, some of the websites also give you a section where they will ask you, why are you applying here? So there you can use the content that you have prepared for your cover letter and put it over there, right? Point number two, the way I see it is that the cover letter is a precursor to your resume. Now, when there is an email and there is a note, then there is an attachment. If what is written in the cover letter or the introduction of the email catches my eye, I definitely want to go click the download, right? So if you get an opportunity where you get to write, where you get to upload your resume, where there is a section where you can make a powerful impact, write a brief summary, do that by using the cover letter, right? And a good cover letter increases your chances to an entry into the organization, right? And when I say entry, it is the first step is to at least sit across the table and sit for an interview. And with experience, you can write a lot of things. So like I have 2 decades of experience. So I have a lot of story to write when I'm writing a cover letter. But at an entry level, writing a cover letter can become very challenging, right? After all, how do you write about a professional experience that you don't have? Challenging, right? So here is what you can do. You can emphasize your enthusiasm about the job opportunity that you're looking for. You can call out relevant job skills that you bring to the table. And while you may not have any full-time experience, highlight whatever experience you have and connect it to the relevance course that you have done to what the company's goals are, right? These 2 3 points and use this when you are writing your cover letter. Obviously you don't have much of experience, so try and focus on your enthusiasm and the skills, right? Now by doing this, you are also showing the hiring manager that you not only have the basic skills, which is, you know, whatever the entry level skills that you're looking at, but that you are standing out and different from the others because you are showing a lot of passion about what the company has been doing, right? Try to highlight some points when you are researching about the company values. Add that in your cover note and send it out. That will interest the recruiter, right? Because you're not just a normal application that comes to them. So that is what I wanted to quickly tell you about what a cover letter is. Okay. Let's look at the second format, which is the video format. Okay. Can you move to the next? Okay. Thank you. Right. Now, from the employer's view, right? In today's world, the video resume offers the candidate a good scope to present themselves in the best light, just like a traditional print or an online resume does. And in an increasingly visual age, which is today, a lot of employers are looking at video resumes, and they find it very easy when they have to skim through hundreds of applications. So here are some tips of getting a good crisp video resume. Point number one, plan before you start filming. So you need to check on your comfort, whether you're talking to a camera or you're talking to a computer or you want to do the shoot on the phone. Okay. Or you really want some friend of yours to come and interview you and put up that video in an interview format. Right? Sometimes people are okay to put in a voiceover on a slideshow. And there are various tools that are available which you can explore, right? You can use Storyville, which is one of the tool where you can use a slideshow with a voiceover, right? So instead of a paper resume, you're using a tool like a short film to make your resume. Now, all these things are options. So you can be creative and choose something that feels very natural to you. So don't go and do something which you're completely uncomfortable, right? Whatever you're comfortable, just do that, right? The second point is do not read. When you're reading from a script, it sounds very monotonous. So when you talk and share an experience, or you try and highlight a quality about yourself that has relevance to the position, that might make you shine, right? Probably something that you can't share an experience in a resume, but when you're doing a video, you have that opportunity to tell a story, right? So one of the examples which I wanted to share with you all is, there was a video resume which came to us, and at the end of the video resume, right, where the ticker comes, she had mentioned that she was a bike trip leader in her special skills. And it was very interesting because for a fresher, someone who's been leading a bike trip, it's not easy, right? This portrayed her as an energetic leader. So try to bring a lot of attitude towards your life in your video. When you're reading paper resume, it doesn't have life. It actually depends upon who is reading it and what state of mind the person is reading it. But when you're doing a video resume, you get that opportunity to be who you are, to be lively, because now it's as good as seeing you in person, right? Third thing is work on a script. Please plan and make points. What are the few things that you want to talk? When you're doing a video resume, you will definitely not say, hi, I'm so and so, I stay in Goregaon, I'm from Mumbai, I do this is my phone number. Obviously you won't do that, right? So what is the script that you want to use? What is the order in which you want to talk? Where is it that you want to introduce your experience? How do you want to end it? Make a script, make some points, because when you write down your ideas, that brings in a lot more clarity, right? And one idea can actually spark another idea, and it may probably feel that, okay, let me do something else instead of doing this. I think this works out well. So iteration of your ideas happen when you're writing down. It becomes crystal clear. Fourth point is make sure that your video is clear and audible. We want to see you and hear what you say. So please ensure there is no background noise, or you reduce the background noise as much as possible. Choose a well-lit place. Face the light and not against the light. Avoid the camera pointing up on your nose. Believe me, these are things that sound very, very obvious, but they actually go a long way. Yeah. Shoot several takes if needed. If you're not happy, okay, do another take, do another take, do another take till you're happy. Right? Watch your own video. See it as you're a customer or a recruiter who's watching the video, right? And finally, make the edits wherever you want to do it. Go on and tell a story, right? So these are some of the tips that you can use when you are making your video resume. Now I want to show you an example of what I'm talking about. Okay. Sanchit, can I request you to play the video, please? It's a 2.5-minute video, which is shot by a student at an entry level position. So just take a look at this.
Hi, I am Rishikesh, an aspiring data scientist. I am currently a participant of the postgraduate program in Business Analytics and Big Data at the Aegis School of Business, Mumbai. Before that, I completed my graduation in mathematics from the Indian Statistical Institute's Bangalore Center. Along with having majored in mathematics, I have also studied 5 major courses in statistics and 3 in probability theory. As a part of my program in Aegis, I have been thoroughly exposed to various tools, techniques, and concepts in the big data and data science environment. For example, I have learned how to program in R and Python. I have learned several conceptual topics like machine learning, information retrieval, natural language processing, data visualization, etc. I have also been exposed to usage of different big data technologies like Apache Hadoop, MapReduce, Apache Spark, IBM InfoSphere Big Insight, etc. Apart from my curriculum, I have participated and carried out various live projects at Aegis. For example, the first project that I carried out was titled Driver Telematics for Auto Insurance. The basic idea behind this project was to create driver profiles based on attributes that we drew from GPS coordinates of several drivers. We then used these profiles to determine risk scores, which were then in turn used for the determination of insurance premium amounts. My second project was to build a simple and small search engine using Lucene and Elasticsearch. My third project was about stock market analysis. We extracted data for several companies from the National Stock Exchange. We analyzed this data to study the uptrends, downtrends, and fluctuations in the stock prices of these companies. My fourth and last project, which is still ongoing, is based on customer churn analysis. We are carrying out this project for one of the most largest telecom giants in India. The idea behind this project is to determine the rate and the reasons behind customer churn. And after that, we will try to come up with prescriptive strategies to avoid customer churn. In the near future, I also plan on undertaking a project in image processing. Based on my wide skill set and the hands-on experience that I have gathered from these projects, I look forward to an adventurous journey in the data science field. Thank you.
Thank you, Sanchit. Back to the slide. Okay, so this may not be one of the best video resumes, but it gives you a fair idea about how a video resume needs to be done, right? Okay, I'll just wait for the slide deck to come. I'm almost at the end, and then we can open up the Q&A session. Sanchit, will you share the slide deck, please? Thank you. Next slide. Right, so those were some tips which you can use to make a good video resume, and you can look for more examples or illustrations on your paper resume as well as your video resume. Now finally, here are some tips in summary to whatever I have been speaking about. Right, please avoid any typographical mistakes, right? Wrong English, wrong grammar. Okay, ensure that after you make your resume, you get people to read it for you, get it corrected, and only the right version is being circulated. Second, avoid using confusing objectives and common phrases, right? Keep it short and simple. Don't exaggerate. Okay, don't put everything there saying that, okay, I have done all this 20 projects, so let me put all this. I have got 30 awards, so let me put all that. You need to keep it short, right? An entry level resume, maximum 2 pages. A 1 page resume is good enough, but maximum 2 pages. That's what we are looking at. So in that case, you cannot put everything over there, right? You need to have material with you. If whenever you get an opportunity for a physical interview, right, you need data to talk about those projects. So keep all that content to speak, and don't put everything there on your paper. Okay? Always keep data in chronological order, reverse chronological order, right? Design your CV in such a way, or you choose the format in such a way that it's very easy for the recruiter to go through the data, right? They shouldn't be looking for where is a header, okay, where are the bullet points. If there is a header, ensure that it is bold, it is big, and it stands out, right? Keep your references, keep your experience very, very recent. If you worked on one of the recent internship projects, please keep that. You don't have to write everything over there, right? Only focus on your relevant skills. Use keywords. If there are gap in education or in internship employments, whatever, you need to have good script so that you can deal with these gaps, right? Proofread. There is no shortcut to it. Your document with mistakes cannot go out, because the moment somebody finds a silly mistake on the document, I have seen that they don't want to read it further, right? It's just hushed aside. Okay. Name your file smartly. A lot of people say resume. Okay, resume underscore Sunita. Okay, put it like that. Don't just say that resume, curriculum vitae, or you just say one and leave it like that. Always use a good filing nomenclature so that somebody, when they receive your resume and when they download, they know what it is, right? And it's not that you make a resume once and it stays like that. Look at it after 5 years. You have to constantly refresh. You add a new skill, please refresh your resume and keep your resume relevant and recent. Do not copy. This is something which we have seen as an issue with most of the freshers. They find a template and a resume very, very interesting. They just take the friend's resume, change the name, change their name on top, change one or two items, and they submit that. Very easily we are able to find out that this is not your resume when we sit for an interview. So don't do that. Do not copy, right? So these are the tips I wanted to share with you all in this short time. I started with a story, so I definitely want to end with a story, right? I'm going to tell you a story of a pencil. Okay, this is a good Stedler pencil with a nice eraser made in a factory. The pencil maker takes each pencil and puts it in a box. But before putting the pencil in the box, he speaks to the pencil. The pencil maker told this pencil, look, pencil, there are 5 things I want you to remember before I actually pack you and send you out in this world. And you must tell me that you will not forget it, so that you can be the best pencil you are. Point number 1, you will be able to do many great things, but only if you allow yourself to be held in someone else's hand. You will experience a painful sharpening from time to time, but this is required if you want to be a good pencil. You will be able to correct any mistakes you make. The most important part of you will always be inside you, the core of you. And on every surface you are used, you must leave your mark. No matter what your condition, you must continue to write. The pencil understood this, promised to remember the points, and quietly went inside the box with a purpose in his heart. So, my dear friends, I want to tell that each one of you are pencils ready to get into the box, ready to be shipped. So, you need to believe in yourself and you should be perseverant. So, if an interview does not go well according to you, or if you think that you couldn't go beyond the first round, it's okay. Just be humble. Learn from the failures. Iterate. Okay. Write down, make a journal, write down what are the mistakes you did, how you could answer the interview better. Every learning from your paper to your interview that happens, go again for the next one, better prepared, as if every interview is your first round. That is a message that I have for each one of you. So thank you, and we can open up the question answer session.
Yeah. Thank you, Sajita. We'll open the floor for the question and answer questions. So if you have any questions, just unmute yourself and shoot the question.
There was a lady who wanted to speak to me.
Uh,
You can just.
good evening, ma'am. Actually, I'm Palvi from Atharva College.
Good evening,
Actually,
Palvi.
I wanted to ask that if we prepare a resume as an engineer or something, but we don't know which company will look our resume. So if we prepare as an engineer, so if it goes to a bank or something, because placements come in our college, so it maybe any company would come. So if it goes to a bank, so how can we make a resume as per the bank, because we are making it as per an engineer.
Right. So, the objective that you write, Palvi, right? Um, as an entrant, right? Everybody, even the organizations are aware that, these are fresh graduates and they are ready to look at opportunities that are available. So try and keep, if it's going from your placement office, try and keep your resume a little neutral, saying that, you're open to work across any industry and you're ready to learn. Does that answer your question? If you are a
Yes,
software
ma'am.
engineer, if you are a BE computer science, you will apply for something which is relevant to computer science, right? Unless you're really opting for something very different in research or in any other field. So typically, even the companies that come to you, like I know that we used to come to your college for campus. So we know even when we are open to take people from non-computer science background, right? So you don't have to worry about that so much when you're applying from your college.
And when we are applying from our college, we have to then also make a cover letter for it, or directly we can put our resume.
No, so when it goes to a placement office, there is your placement coordinator who will be looking through the CVs and then giving it. So if you're going through the placement office, generally cover letters are not looked at. But in your resume, the purpose statement that you write, that you can write very strongly. Cover letters are not needed if you're going through your placement office. Okay.
Yeah.
Have I answered your question?
Yes, ma'am.
All the best.
Yeah, I have a question. Can
Go
I
ahead.
proceed? Yeah, hi. This is Moin, and thanks for this wonderful session and reiterating a lot of points which we already know or which we kind of take for on a granted basis. Sorry to use the word. On the contrary, a lot of folks here, I am an experienced professional, but I came across the platform in one of the Toastmasters group, and I thought it's good to attend. I myself, I have like 18 years of experience, but I came back to college 2 years back. Due to COVID, our this program got delayed. I just completed my MBA from ISB, MBA for Working Professionals. Today was in fact the last exam. It's very coincidence thing. So my question is, being an experienced professional, what is the CV length or resume length? Should it be curated to 1 page or a 2 page? And the roles, since I have kind of have eight companies I have switched over this period. So do I need to put across all the 8 companies, or I mean only the names, or at least the last 3 organizations with a brief description of what I have worked for?
Okay, a good question, Moinuddin. So first of all, let me congratulate you on completing your examination, and
Thank you so much.
wish you all the best for clearing with flying colors. Now, there are two
Thank you.
parts to your question. The first one was what should be the length of your resume? Okay. So typically they say that, if you are a fresh entrant, keep it to 1 page. If you, and you can look at maybe 1.5 page for every 10 years of experience. So if you're talking about roughly around 2 decades of experience, then not more than 2.5 page.
Yeah, got it. 2 page. Yeah.
Not 2 pages on filled on both the side. Okay.
No. I get that on just
Right.
one
So
side of
that
the
is the
paper.
that is a yeah. So that is the first part of your question. Now coming to the second part of the question, right? When you're talking about working at 8 places, if they are all relevant, then please mention the last organization or the relevant organizations for which where you work the longest need to have more meat. The others which are more irrelevant, you can just leave it as at a line or two. But it is always recommended that you mention all the names of your organization. See, because at any position, right, background verifications are done, and
Yeah.
they will also be cross checking on your LinkedIn versus what is written over here to what you put in the consent form. So it is always good that you have your full information there. What you choose to write and not choose to write, that's up to you. The
Yeah.
earlier experiences, you can leave it at one line.
Yeah. Got it. Yeah. There was a very wonderful point what you have mentioned. To map it out, to add meat with the respective relevant positions, irrespective of the career trajectory. So I think that
Absolutely.
that is one thing I'll carry out from this point. I was missing out on this thing, but no, thanks a lot. That really helps me. And I got
Thank you
one
so much.
follow-up question, just if others don't mind. So how is the management consulting domain accepting people with so much of experience? Do they hire laterally, or do they hire only freshers?
Lateral hires is always there, but the number of people who are hired at a senior level is much lesser compared to people who have lesser experience. One of the best bet for you, Moinuddin, is you can always go back to the company that you have worked, because there is the high preference of people coming back to work.
Yeah, and very unfortunate that I worked for 16 and a half years overseas. Just 2 years down the line, I came back to India, and actually this is my first company in India, and I prefer to stay in India now rather than going back, leaving the shores. Maybe I'll try with new companies. I already reached out to you on LinkedIn, dropped a note also. I'll connect with you on a personal note as well. Thanks for
All
that
right. Thank you so
wonderful
much.
point. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So, ma'am, even I have a question. So, like, there is thing called elevator pitch, and we have to impress a panelist within 30-40 seconds, and if it's less time, it's get difficult. So, some guidance on elevator pitch, how to prepare it.
So what you need to do is you need to go through your profile. So Prathamesh, what is your strength? And what is it that your life objective is in terms of your professional objective? So you need to try and bring the essence of that in that 30 seconds. So when you're talking about 30 seconds, not more than 6-7 lines, right? Try and bring in your experience. So you have to be very careful of the words that you use. Very selective, very powerful words. Make your entire profile in 6-7 lines. So if you look at a movie, which is a 3-hour movie, any movie, right? Before you want to see the movie, there is a description which is written in brief, which gives you a whole story, a gist of the story. So you making your elevator pitch is something like that. a very, very powerful you needs to come out in 6 to 7 lines. And it's good for everybody to have this elevator introduction.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
Sajita?
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi,
Here.
Cynthia. Yes.
See, actually, for a person who has been working for around 2 decades, do you think adding any point about Toastmasters International or being a part of it, is HR team looking for such kind of people, or adding it in our resume, does it add any value? That is question number 1. Question number 2 is about the keywords. You're mentioning about keywords. Can you elaborate, what is the kind of any specific keyword which the HR team is looking for? So that is my question.
Okay. So the first one on Toastmasters, right? Toastmasters is something which we recommend. A lot of corporates have their own Toastmaster clubs within the organizations. You have one too, Cynthia, right? Rather, I can say we have one too, right?
Yes.
And we have seen how it has transformed people. So definitely it is something which will add value, because this is not a certification or a membership that is something very local. This is an international body. There is a framework to it, and we see how it has worked and impacted and transformed people. So definitely mentioning Toastmasters in your resume is noteworthy, and it's always a good idea. Okay, so that is point number 1. Answering your second question, right? When you're talking about keywords and skills right now, okay? So specifically, if you're talking about someone who is from quality, then instead of saying that, you're a quality testing person, instead of that, if you have some certification, if you are an agile scrum master, then do mention that, right? If you as a leader, if you have a particular way of working on certain things, you can add that as your skill set. So those are the skill sets that need to go in your in the points where you're highlighting about yourself.
Okay. Thanks, Rita.
So for example, right, if you are someone who really likes forecasting, and if that is what your job role is, and also something which is which the recruiter is looking for per the JD job description, then ensure that you highlight that you're good at forecasting and analysis. You have very good project management skills. You are very performance driven. So these are keywords which should be from your job description, which will come in your highlights or your key skills, and also it should reflect somewhere in the resume too, right? Because highlights or highlighting your skill is from your resume. And people, when AI is actually skimming through resumes, they look at the job description, they look at your key skills, and they look at the resume. That is how the mapping is done.
Okay.
Is this a better answer?
Yes. Thanks.
Okay. Okay, do we have any more questions?
Any more questions?
I have one question. Hello.
Go ahead, Altaf.
Yeah, this is Altaf. My question is related to interview and not related to resume. Can I ask it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes. I want to know how to answer the question. Tell me your weakness. If that the interviewer asks, so should we answer it honestly or should we answer it smartly?
Of course, you have to answer it smartly, right? When you say smartly, you see, there is no human being without weakness. So before you go for any interview, there are some must prepare questions. Look for it on the internet. You will get plenty of them. There will be questions like, what are your strengths? What are your weakness? So pick up a weakness which could, for example, right? You say that I actually get to too involved in work, or I get lost in work, so I'm not able to do my time management well. Okay, don't say in a phrase or in 2 words. Give an incident. Say that, because of this, I'm not able to manage my time better. I think I focus a lot on perfection, and which actually eats into time. Now, being a perfectionist is good, right? But at the same time, you are using that positive word to say what are your area of improvement, which is time management. Mention it in a story format with an event or an incident, and then say that, I'm working on it.
Okay, got it.
These are
Thank you.
tricky questions, Altaf.
Thank you.
Can I
Thank you.
can I can I add to the point what Altaf raised on the weaknesses?
Go ahead, Moinuddin.
Yeah. So Altaf, based on my experience, what you can say is also, this was my weakness, and these are the steps what I have done to overcome it, and have been successful to a large extent, not 100%, but you can like quantify it. I've overcome it like 70% or 80%. That gives a confidence to the even the interviewer that you're working on your weaknesses. I mean, correct ma'am if I'm wrong.
Brilliant. Very well put, Moinuddin. So it shows that, you know what your weakness is, you're working on it, and you are continuing to work on it. That's a very nice way to put it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Ma'am,
Thank you.
actually,
Thank you.
even we have said that we have to put our weakness in such a way that it feels that it is positive. That if we are, that we can say that I can't speak a lie. So it is also a thing. It takes it in a positive way, that he always speaks truth.
Yeah. So prepare for these are questions, right? Because you don't have too many work experience as fresh entrants. There is a lot of questions like this which will be asked. So you need to prepare for all this. What kind of questions can they ask, and therefore what is the story you will have to support it? Use incidents. Say I'm good at teamwork. Don't say that. Say that, this is what I do, and this is how I have done this, and therefore I'm strong at this. So use incidents to support what you want to say.
There's another question. There's another question from a member. Jamie wanted to ask, she's a fresher, so how can she and what can she endorse that makes her visible and hireable?
Yeah. So
To a
Jamie, you
resume, I
being a
mean, what can
part.
she do?
So Jamie, you being a part of Toastmasters, right? And if you holding a position here in Toastmasters, mention about that, because that shows your leadership. Like the example I told you about, the lady who spoke about her leading a bike rally, right? It shows that she's capable of leading. It brings in your leadership skills, right? So that comes out. So similarly, like this, if you have done things in your college, whether it is your events that you've held, any responsible position in the committees that you have held, do mention all that, right? So as a fresher, what people look forward is are people with attitude. Skill can always be learned.
In case we are not holding any position in any club, but we have got some certificates for best speech or best evaluator or best table topic speaker. So those are also recommended to put into the CV, assuming we do have a work experience of a decade.
Right. So you can use all this and put it in your accomplishments, accolades. And remember, the thumb rule is don't put all these stories if your CV is going beyond 2-3 pages. So you need to choose what are the top 2 things in different areas that you will use to highlight.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you, Rohitash.
Hi, Sajita. I have one question.
Sorry to interrupt. Yeah, before we go, that this is going to be the last question, as we have already short the time. Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay, sure.
Ahead,
Thanks. Hi, Sajita. I have experience, and I currently I'm working with compliance field, and I took the certification FRM and CFA, and now I wanted to switch my career to research analyst as a research analyst in industry. So I wanted to know how can I tweak my resume, because I have the knowledge but I don't have the experience. So how can I portray it in my resume where interviewer can know that I have a very good knowledge about the domain which I wanted to go.
So Dharmesh, my 2 cents on this is the best way. If you are moving laterally to a different function, it's best to move in your current organization, right? Gather some experience over there, which you can reflect in the resume, because we say a lot of things that I've done this certification, I've done that certification, but it's very, very difficult for someone without an experience to give you an opportunity in that area. Right. So where are you working currently?
Currently, I'm working with BNP Paribas.
Okay. So do they have an opportunity? Can you check if they have an internal job posting or any opportunity where they can give you into the research R&D, work there for a few months, get it on your resume and then move out. That becomes more compelling.
Right. Good idea. Thank you.
Best of luck to you.
Same thing. Thank you.
Thank you everyone for making this session interactive. I would like to take this opportunity to thank Sajita Thomas ma'am for coming here, sharing us insight on resume building, cover letter, video resume, and your pencil story, ma'am. I think it was wonderful. I'm definitely going to use it in my next speeches as well. So thank you for taking out time and guiding us. I would also like to thank the audience, each one of us, each one of everyone here, for attending this session and making it interactive. Before we signing off, I would like to make announcement. As a part of Millennial Toastmasters Club, we have a next initiative, as we have already completed with the resume building. The next initiative is about preparing for a group discussion, and we have a session on 7th April, which is from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m., which will be taken over by distinguished Toastmaster Dr. S.K. Brilliant, and it will be Get Set for group discussion, and it will be a PowerPoint guiding session for group. Yes, please. Yeah.
So actually, we have our exam on 8th. So can we reschedule the 7th one? Because Atharva College have their exams on 8th, which is mechanics, and it is, I think, important for us. So maybe we can't attend then at 7th.
Okay, I think Sunita ma'am would like to have a...
Pallavi, since this is already scheduled for now, we will be dropping more messages in the group. Also, don't worry, we will keep having such sessions on a regular basis. So your concerns will be taken care of.
Yeah, and this
In
is
case,
one of yeah. Yes, Anshit.
Yeah, I was saying, in case the session is getting recorded, then that could be shared with those who could not attend the session.
Yes, we have also formed a group. The link was shared by Sanchit in the chat box. You can join that group. You will get all the insights and regular updates about the initiatives. We have total 4 sessions. This was the first episode. Second episode is, as I just mentioned, it will coming on 7th April. And this all comes under Millennials Toastmasters Club, which will be chartering in the upcoming days. The club is specially for the students, millennials, and it will be student driven, obviously, and it is really open for all. So join Toastmasters, as it is going to be benefit for you if you join in the early stage. That's all from our side. Before we leave, just turn on your cameras. We'll have a mandatory Zoom selfie. Okay, on the Sanchit, are you clicking it? Yeah. On the count of 3, with your best poses. 1, 2, 3. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for joining us. And please do join the WhatsApp group. The link has been shared in the chat box. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you.